Private jet safety is not something you judge from a cabin photo. A beautiful interior does not prove a safe flight option. A polished quote does not prove a safe flight option. And a confident salesperson does not prove a safe flight option. If you are going to charter a private jet, you need to understand what to verify before you trust the aircraft, the operator, and the plan. If you want private aviation explained without the usual noise, subscribe to JetMaster. This channel is for serious charter buyers who want clarity before they request options, compare quotes, or approve a private jet charter. In a moment, I'm going to show you the 5 safety checks you should understand before you say yes to a flight option. Not because you need to become an aviation inspector. You do not. But because you should know what questions separate a serious charter option from a vague one. Let's start with the blunt truth. Private jet safety is not a vibe. It is not a brand image. It is not a leather seat. It is not a photo of a clean cabin. That is surface-level thinking. And surface-level thinking is dangerous when the trip matters. A serious charter buyer should ask, who operates the aircraft? What standards apply? Who is responsible for the flight? What is the crew experience? What is the aircraft status? And what safety information can be explained clearly before booking? You do not need to know every technical detail. But you do need to know whether the person presenting the option can explain the basics without hiding behind vague language. That is the first standard. Clarity. If the explanation is unclear, slow down. Point 1. Know who operates the aircraft. This is one of the most important safety questions in private jet charter. JetMaster does not operate aircraft. Villiers helps connect charter buyers with private jet charter options, but the actual flight is operated by an aviation operator. That operator matters. Since in these the aircraft matters. The crew matters. The operational structure matters. So when you receive a flight option, do not think only in terms of aircraft type. Do not just say, is it a Citation? Is it a Gulfstream? Is it a Challenger? That is not enough. Ask, who is the operator? What certifications or operating standards apply? Is this flight operated under the appropriate charter structure? Can the operator identity be provided before booking? If someone cannot clearly explain who is operating the flight, that is not a small detail. That is the core of the safety conversation. You are not just renting a beautiful cabin. You are trusting an operating system. Point 2. Understand the difference between aircraft image and aircraft status. This is where people get distracted. They see a nice photo, they see a clean cabin, they see a sleek exterior. They assume quality. That is lazy. A photo can show condition. It cannot prove maintenance status. It cannot prove crew qualifications. It cannot prove operational standards. It cannot prove the aircraft is appropriate for the route. It cannot prove the aircraft is ready under the exact trip assumptions. A serious buyer asks questions that go beyond the image. Is the aircraft available for this trip? Is it appropriate for the route and airports? Are there any known limitations that matter? Is the aircraft operated by a qualified charter operator? Are the aircraft and crew ready for the requested schedule? You do not need to turn the conversation into an interrogation, but you do need to avoid being seduced by visuals, because in private aviation, the cabin is not the safety system. The operation is. Sorry to interrupt your video for a moment, but this is exactly why we built the free 10-day JetMaster private jet charter course. Most people look at private aviation from the outside. They see the aircraft, they see the cabin, they see the price. But they do not always know what questions to ask before trusting a charter option. The free course walks you through the practical basics. Cost clarity, aircraft fit reduzi airstress yadi urzi route planning, airport choice, empty leg trade-offs, safety questions, and how to prepare before you request or compare quotes. You can find it in the description and pinned comment. No pressure. It is there if you want to think like a serious charter buyer before money is on the table. Alright, now let's get back to the video. Point 3. Ask about crew standards. A private jet charter is not just an aircraft decision. It is a crew decision. The pilots matter. Their training matters. Their experience matters. Their familiarity with the aircraft matters. Their duty limits matter. Their readiness for the route and schedule matters. A serious buyer does not need to ask for every line of a pilot resume. But the safety conversation should not be vague. Ask, how is the crew assigned? Are crew duty limits considered for this itinerary? Is the crew qualified for this aircraft and operation? Are there any timing issues that could affect crew planning? This matters especially when the schedule is unusual. Early departure, late return, long duty day, multi-leg itinerary, international routing, weather-sensitive airports, mountain airports, and winter operations. Those details can affect planning. Private aviation gives you control, but safety still comes from disciplined operations, not from pretending rules disappear because the aircraft is private. Point 4. Check whether the aircraft fits the route safely. This connects directly to aircraft fit. A jet may look attractive, it may be available, it may have a good price, but is it appropriate for the actual route? That means distance, weather, runway length, passenger count, luggage, fuel planning, airport performance, airforces, and route conditions. Some buyers think safety is separate from aircraft selection. It is not. If the wrong aircraft is pushed into the wrong mission, the decision quality drops. Maybe it is still legal, maybe it is still possible, but serious buyers should not be aiming for barely possible. They should be aiming for appropriate. Ask, is this aircraft well suited for this route? Are there runway or performance considerations? Does passenger count or luggage affect the recommendation? Would another aircraft category create a safer or more reliable plan? That last question is important because the cheapest option is not always the right option, and the biggest option is not automatically the safest option. The right option is the one that fits the mission cleanly. Point 5. Ask what is included in the safety explanation before booking. This is where you find out whether you are dealing with clarity or theater. A good charter process should be able to explain the key details, not overwhelm you, not bury you in jargon, not dismiss your questions. Explain them. You should be able to understand who operates the flight, what aircraft is being used, why that aircraft fits the route, how the crew and schedule are being handled, what airports are assumed, what could affect the plan, and what happens if the aircraft, operator, weather, or schedule changes before departure. That is not paranoia. That is adult decision-making. If a flight option is safe and well-structured, reasonable questions should not offend anyone. And if basic questions create defensiveness, pay attention. That does not automatically mean the option is bad, but it does mean you should slow down. Now here is the safety checklist before you trust a private jet charter option. 1. Who operates the aircraft? 2. Is the flight being handled under the correct charter structure? 3. Is the aircraft appropriate for the route, airport, passengers, and luggage? 4. How is the crew assigned and are duty limits considered? 5. Are there route, runway, weather, or timing factors to understand? 6. What happens if the aircraft or schedule changes? 7. Can the safety basics be explained clearly before booking? That final point is the buyer protection test. Clear options can be explained. Weak options hide behind vague confidence. Do not confuse confidence with competence. And do not confuse a beautiful aircraft with a well-understood charter option. Private jet safety is not about being scared. It is about being serious. You are trusting people, equipment, planning, standards, and timing. So ask better questions, respect the process, and do not let luxury imagery replace verification. In the next video, I'm going to show you private jet versus first class and which option gives you more control. Because safety is only one part of the decision. The next question is whether private aviation actually gives you more control than first class for the trip you are planning. And don't forget, your JetMaster journey starts now.